Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to make sure everybody's getting to the right places in their breakout rooms. All right. Let's move on to OTA websites. I'm going to apologize ahead of time because there is so much stuff on here. We just like this kind of is the where everything lives that OTA does. We're obviously a very different animal than what a lot of the other states are doing. So bear with me. There's a bunch of information on here, but this is meant to very much in our state. This is meant for you as members to be like a holistic place where everything just exists. Honestly, the cover page is maybe less useful to a lot of the members because it's meant more for like stakeholders. When we do stuff with a lot of outside organizations and folks, we want to try to put a lot of information in one place. I will say there are at the very bottom very simple links to join our share drive and our listserv. We try to be like pretty meticulously make sure all new people have been added to the listserv. Um, but there are simple forms that notifies me to get added to both. Again, the listserv is just kind of our own Oregon Tree. What is it? Listserv at OregonTrio.org. That is just like that singular communication channel to send information across everything. It's what we use to communicate to a lot of you often. The share drive. If you're unfamiliar with the share drive, we often get asked like, man, I wish there was like one place where we could share presentations and materials and have like folders everyone can access so I can look at different everything, right? So we have created a Google Drive. Now, the problem is it's a Google Drive. So if your work email is a Google account, you can just add it. If it's Microsoft, it doesn't always let me add it. So I may need to like actually collect an email address that's Google. So for some folks that are Microsoft only, they'll just put their own personal one and I can give them access here. But this is meant to just be one single share drive so you can put information in here or view a bunch of other presentations, resources from other folks. For the most part, this is a lot of stuff I've added or folks associated with OTA have added. I would love for people to be contributing way more. Like if you have a big folder of a bunch of past presentations you and your programs have done, putting it in the presentations folder would be amazing. So that way other people can view and look at those resources. But yeah, this is meant to be a shared space. So to join that, you just kind of click the join the share drive, join the OTA listserv, and that allows you to join that space. Now, from the top, under about, history tells our history, the swag store, similar to like the fawn. If you want to buy things that have the Oregon Trio logo on it, we partner through a website called TeePublic. So they do all the printing and shipping and everything, and OTA just gets a portion of the profits, but allows you to purchase any of this stuff over here on the left-hand side that has these logos on it. So I just like bringing that up in case folks aren't aware that you can get some stuff that has more than just the generic Trio logo. Leadership has our board stuff. It has information about myself and Robin Williams, who are the actual staff who work with OTA. We as well have all of our like strategic plan minutes, all of the kind of board adjacent stuff that lives on our website. If you are interested in like the fact books, this is meant to be like a holistic reporting on all of the programs in the state. So it's a lot of student stories and then just some information around how many students we serve, how much money comes into the state from Trio, and some general just Trio information. So you can see we just have links to all the past documents here on the website. As far as Oregon Trio programs, we've listed it in two different versions. The descriptions give you an overview of like what is the difference between all the different Trio programs. There's Word versions, but we had folks that wanted a more nuanced comparison. So we put together this spreadsheet that is viewable by all. And there's two versions. There's a full Trio language that just side by side compares all the Trio programs and what the regulatory required services, allowable services, eligibility, objectives, minimum caseload, and then upcoming competition year. So you can see like very specific language. And then I also created more of an abridged version that's meant to be more user friendly, that gives you basic summaries of the purpose, unique characteristics, and then those same kind of services, eligibility, what the objectives are, all that information. So we're trying to just give you these are, in my experience, I've not seen this anywhere else on the internet. So we are trying to create like a singular space where you can just see what the differences are between the Trio program. So that's like the actual program descriptions. The locations and maps is all of the programs within the state. So all of these tabs here, let's say you are from the University of Oregon, you can click on it and get some basic information about the program. These funding numbers are probably off, I'm realizing, but it's fine. This is meant to be a quick glance. This doesn't show you the high schools we serve, unfortunately. It's just the host institution, but you can also scroll down and see it listed by district. District is meant to be like the federal districts that we serve. That's why there are the 6 of them, as well as links to all the websites. We try to go through and make sure these links are not broken as well. But this is meant to be if you, let's say you have a student that's like moving to another place, or you just want to talk to somebody else who's in another program, this can be a way to find all of that information. So next is newsletters. We every quarter put together newsletters by district because we send all these out to our federal legislators, but there's also like statewide newsletters. You all are more than welcome to use these to like send out to people within your own institution or share among staff and do that kind of stuff. But you can see it goes back pretty far. You'll notice they're all pretty much the same. I do swap out the student stories to match with students who are from that district, but it is just a resource that's on the website. So all that is just in the press is grant awards and things that Trio gets in the press. So mostly informational stuff, but stuff that can be useful to use programs as well. Under the membership portion, this is stuff that is very much meant for all of you. So FAFSA supports right now. We have a grant through ECMC where you can apply for funds to do a FAFSA workshop or a summer bridge workshop. So this right now is a form. We're going to be doing this through the end of August to ask for money to do some workshops. The money, I'm going to try to avoid duplicating stuff I cover in general updates and just show you what is on the websites. SSS pipeline. If you are at a pre-college or a community college, we wanted to give information about every single SSS program in the state and kind of some of the characteristics that define each. So you'll find on here is the program by program, and it just gives you the same kind of categories and information on each. And then everywhere you'll find a link that actually allows you to apply to the program. So if you're working with a high school student that wants to apply because they're going to PCC, or you have at PCC and you have a student who's transferring to Oregon Tech, like you can help that students navigate the transition from one Trio program to another in this space. Allowable cost services. I've been going over this a bunch, but OTA can get paid to like do stuff for you all if you all have funds that need to be spent down. So there's a form for that here. There's a list of kind of general benefits, how to become a member. If you're an active member, so if you're a paid Oregon, when they say member, like you paid your Trio membership, every single grant in Oregon is a paid member right now. Part of that membership means that you have access to Canva Pro. So we'll pay for one Canva Pro membership within your program. So there's a basic form on here to kind of indicate what email you want that to be. So that way you and your staff can access it. The allowable cost request. Almost everybody's used this up to now, but every academic year, there's $1,000 that come on OTA funding that we'll spend towards each grant to purchase things that are traditionally unallowable on your grant funds. So there's a whole form on here, again, to indicate interest, and then I will work with programs from there. And then there's a link to renew membership. Under the video section, there's lots of stuff on here, but the updates are all those monthly updates that I do. They're all housed here on the website. Trio onboarding, I kind of created videos again for like new staff to explain what is OTA, what is NAEOP, what is COE, and just can, for new people that don't quite understand the larger mechanisms that surround Trio World, this can be a useful process to have them go through just to kind of increase some of that awareness of what's out there. There's also just some general tutorials on Canva, or I think mostly Canva at this point. I think there's a Chat GPT one as well under tutorials, and just other recordings that we've done of events in the past that live on here. Under scholarships. All right. We do a lot of scholarships here through OTA. This is a summary of the 4 chunks, the Dirks Trio Achievers, all of the fundraising we do at our conference is all those proceeds go towards this Dirks Trio Achiever Award. So once a year, we give $500 scholarships to students from all over the state, and you can learn more about it and the whole application process and timeline right there. We also offer some international abroad scholarships, both to high school and college students. The timelines of those are a little different. The high school one is tied to a partner we have through CIEE. And those deadlines are more in like the January timeframe. If you are a college program, though, we have quarterly deadlines. So down here under college students, there's an OTA college funding application. Basically, at each of these dates, if you have a student that's going to be doing a study abroad program, whether it's through a third party or through your institution, there's a really simple form and like a checklist that we ask students to submit. You can just kind of copy and paste it or click on this link to view the checklist. But we just do like a random lottery. So any students who are going abroad, as long as they submit this form at these different deadlines, we do a drawing and award a $1,500 scholarship to that student. Last mile, this is meant for those students who are running out of Pell Grant eligibility, have a lot of loans, and are close to graduating. We do this every single quarter as well. Right now, students can apply for fall funding. Due date's August 23rd. We've been doing this for years, but you can learn about it, and the entire application kind of lives in this last mile portion. And then lastly, this was a new scholarship we did this past year, the transfer funds. It's just going to be annually, likely due in April of every single year. So it's not open right now, but if you work at a community college program, we have a similar, a $2,500 scholarship that goes to students who are looking for additional support to transfer from a 2 to 4 year. So all the information about each individual scholarship and kind of the application processes are all found underneath that. All right. Support OTA. If you just want to donate money to us, there's ways to do that through PayPal. All direct donations go towards that scholarship fund. This is not just paying our bills. You can also set up your Fred Meyer Rewards account to link it to a nonprofit. OTA can be one of those nonprofits. So just small percentage of kind of everything you spend at Fred Meyer can go towards us. Right now, we get like a check for 30 to 40 bucks every quarter, but it kind of adds up and can be, well north of $100 over the course of a year. All right, students. Everything that's in here, we were asked to it'd be really nice if students could use this website as well and not just like the actual professionals. So it'd be great if we had a place for just lots of resources and a lot of links people use. This is where a lot of you could help me or give suggestions. We just have a lot of links on here to things related to general resources, financial literacy, FAFSA support, OSAC, funding opportunities, study abroad opportunities, like any information that students could benefit from. We try to put it on here so that way you don't need to have a billion bookmarks necessarily, or if you want to send a student to a place to kind of look at a good summary, all these do is redirect you to some other site. That's all we're trying to do here. So it's more of a bookmark page, but that's the resources tab. Transfer support, same thing. We're working on making sure this is updated, but if you actually want to get like admissions information for the transfer folks at the different institutions, we try to house all of that on this page. Oregon colleges is not complex. It goes to the Wikipedia page that just lists all the schools that are in Oregon. Testimonials. This is a bunch of videos, both from our own representatives in Congress here at the state legislation, as well as different videos we put together of actual student feedback, but it's just student testimonials that live on the website. And then TRIO alumni. This can be helpful when you're working with students to make sure that they're plugged into all of the resources that exist out there. So there are TRIO alumni networks on a national scale, right? So I have a link here to kind of join the National TRIO Alumni Network. There's also a Faces of TRIO like survey and thing that is done through COE. Both of these are handled through the Council for Opportunity and Education, COE, but it can help make sure that your alumni are connected to a large all they're really doing is just getting their name in a database so they can be notified of future opportunities, and it makes it easier for like the TRIO community to reach out to them with future opportunities or identify them. From OTA's perspective, we do like to bring an alumni with us to DC every March when we go speak with our legislators. So it is helpful to kind of know who the alumni are. The last piece I want to quickly cover under students is the Student Advisory Board. So every year in the fall, we accept applications for our current college TRIO students to be on an advisory board that can provide some insight to our strategy, make sure that it like we're making decisions with the students' direct impact in mind, and let them kind of influence some of the decisions we're making on how we run the association. Additionally, we provide a lot of professional development to all of these students that participate in the advisory board. So right now, this is mostly old. They just finished up in June, but we'll update this and revise it for the fall. So that way folks can know for sure when the due dates are and get information about that advisory board. All right, we are almost done here. I'm going to skip events and go to calendar and contact because those are really easy. Calendar, the OTA one is really good because this isn't mixing the NAEOP and OTA dates on here, but mostly what you're going to see on here are just a lot of Zoom calls or events that we're doing. Any due dates are all listed on here, so you can go out a month at a time and just look at all of the different webinars we're offering or any kind of events that are happening within Oregon TRIO. We are also working right now on putting together a comprehensive calendar of events that we're doing. So by the end of August, we are going to have a calendar that goes basically from September through June, September of 2024 through June. So the whole next academic year that has every single due date for everything I mentioned, whether it's a scholarship, some kind of membership due date, fact book collection, dates and information, like everything that you would need to know. All the events that we do are just going to be on one single page on one single calendar. So you can have all that information at the start of the year, particularly for any student events. So that way, when you're planning all of your programming for the year, you have all that information ahead of time. You can make sure to accommodate your schedule accordingly. But as of now, a lot of this information does live on the calendar page. Contact, for the most part, you all know how to contact myself. It's that executive director email, but we do have a contact us page that lives on here as well. All right, the last piece I'm touching on is all under events. So the Professional Development Conference, this is what we do to put on a big conference for all of our OTA staff. Right now, all I have on here is a save the date, March 31st through April 3rd. Next year is in Bend, Oregon at Sun River Resort. So we'll have more information coming soon. Usually we open registration at the beginning of the year, usually like January, but we at least want to get the dates out there so folks know that this is coming and can kind of anticipate that. But all the information for registration and learning about the conference will live on that page. For the Student Leadership Conference, every year we do a big conference for students as well. So right now, we just have a save the date. I'm about to finalize the date. I think it's January 18th, but we're looking at doing it in Salem again this year at Willamette University on January 18th. But once all that information is officially posted and announced, it'll live on here. You can find everything you need to know, as well as registration processes here on our website. Those are really the two big events that we do within OTA. There's the event for you all as professionals, and then the event for our students. But we also want to list information on here about some of the larger stuff. So similar to what you saw on the NAEOP page, I like to just take all of the information that COE provides around the upcoming policy seminar and just put it on here for you to have that information. First Generation College Day. So this is just a national day that was proclaimed um, years ago. I think it's November 8th. So every year there is just kind of this big call to do a first gen celebration day. So it's not anything we push really big on like a statewide scale, but if within your own program locally you want to do a big first gen celebration um, in November, this is just kind of providing information a little bit about the history on how to do that. And then the final is Trio Day, which is different than First Gen Day. National Trio Day was established back in 1986. I want to say it is in February. Yeah. So it's the last Saturday in February is considered National Trio Day. So again, if you just want to do some kind of event, workshop, something within your individual program, we don't usually do anything on a larger scale statewide, but we just want to provide some information and recommendations for folks around National Trio Day. So we list them under events, but they're not necessarily active events that we work on. All right. With that, I've covered. There's like lots and lots of information. I didn't want to get too in the weeds on what all of those opportunities specifically entail, but just doing a general overview. So I want to open things up and just ask if anybody has any questions or recommendations for stuff that could be added, cleaned up, revised. That would be helpful.
Are we done?
I think we're done. If nobody else, most of the people in the room are just everybody's autopilots that are going to give them summaries. So if you all in the room don't have any questions on what you saw there, I am done preaching on everything that is on here. We're always updating stuff constantly, but my recommendation is if you at least like read, I don't care if you necessarily watch the videos, but if you just make sure you're on that listserv, so you get communications, and as long as you're kind of glancing at what's going on in those bi-weekly updates, you should be notified anytime something new is added or once one of those events, the registration opens. Like that's kind of what we try to use those updates for. But almost everything is going to be housed and existed here on the website. So yeah, appreciate you all taking some time to hang out with me today. All right, Joy, your coming weekend here. Most people don't always work Fridays once we hit July, so enjoy the sun, and I'll see you all later. Thank you.